Without a doubt, there was a time that DSTV as a brand and service provider absolutely dominated the entertainment, information, and general content space in Nigeria, South Africa, and the rest of Africa. But with the popularization of the internet and smartphones, the once formidable giant has lost its dominance and relevance to international streaming platforms, video hosting sites, and social media, signaling the end of a new era. In this video, I'm going to reveal how DSTV went from being the most powerful and popular paid TV service provider with over 25 years of steady subscription and financial growth to losing over 500,000 subscribers in 2022, as well as the mass abandonment the company is currently facing across Africa. I will also explain the key factors that have led to their loss in dominance and relevance, and how the insistent price hikes from the parent company will cause even more drop in subscribers and ultimately bring the once powerful brand to its knees. Before we proceed, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more contents related to the psychology of pop culture and so much more. Before the internet and social media exploded in popularity around the 2010s, TV, radio, and newspapers were the dominant ways to get information, news, sports, and entertainment. And leading the paid TV segment was DSTV and other services offered by MultiChoice, which is the parent company. In the 90s to early 2000s, when color television was developed and introduced to the public, local television and radio stations had very limited choices of programs they were offering. This created a demand for international channels and programs that seemed to look more interesting, engaging, aesthetically pleasing, and professional than the local contents that were shown on territorial TV and radio stations. This demand was solved by DSTV, as the service provider served as a window to the world through their access to news, information, and high-quality entertainment from internationally recognized TV and radio channels. As they say, information is the food of the mind, and at the height of the TV and radio era, DSTV and other paid TV service providers were like high-end restaurants with a wider range of food that the customers were hungry to get their hands on. Unfortunately, the only thing that is constant in this world is change, because technology and the mediums of sending and receiving information is always changing. There was a time that handwritten letters were the only ways of sending messages. Then technology brought the telegram, and I don't mean the Apple, I mean the old invention. A few decades later, the telephone was invented, then came the internet, and now the smartphones. The same can be said of television and radios, but without a doubt, the internet was the single biggest factor that ushered in the new era of technological advancement. DSTV, or Digital Satellite Television, is a paid TV service provider owned by MultiChoice, a South African company based in Randburg, South Africa. DSTV provides radio and television channels to subscribers across 50 countries in mostly South Africa, Nigeria, and Zimbabwe. It was launched on the 6th of October 1995 and offered a package of 16 channels, which included Cartoon Network, CNN, ESPN, Mnet, SuperSport, and many more. In February 1998, the service provider had 70,000 subscribers across the African continent. By June of that year, the number skyrocketed to 215,000 in sub-Saharan Africa. With the launch of BBC Prime in March 1999, the number of subscribers had risen to nearly 350,000. At the height of their dominance in 2002, DSTV had 9.1 million subscribers in South Africa, 21.8 million in the whole of Africa, with over 200 channels, and made a profit of $697.8 million as at March of that year. In 1993, when MultiChoice launched its operations in Nigeria, its entry into the Nigerian market marked a significant change in the entertainment space. The company was offering a paid TV with a wider selection of channels, including international programming, sports, and movies. MultiChoice heavily emphasized the novelty and prestige associated with having access to premium content. This meant that initially, the target audience likely consisted of affluent Nigerians and those who had a strong desire for international entertainment and news. Eventually, the company introduced cheaper packages and the budget-friendly GoTV. As at 2021, MultiChoice had 21.1 million subscribers and 21.8 million in 2022. Growing up in Lagos in the 90s, we did not have cable TV at my own home, but I remember that me and my father used to go to his friend's house who had, we used to go there every other month, but the visits were always memorable because there was always food, light, and DSTV. My father and his friend used to leave me in the man's parlor while they go and discuss and hang out in his home office. This was around 1996 to 1998, so DSTV was still relatively new in Nigeria, and only very few middle class people could afford to have it in their homes. This man was a computer engineer, so obviously was doing very well for himself. I remember that there was a time that having that black mesh satellite dish in your compound was a kind of status signal that a person or family was doing well financially and in society. The service provider had programs for kids, teenagers, movie lovers, sport lovers, adults, documentary, music, fashion, and education. Some of the reasons why DSTV dominated the pay TV industry included the fact that they had a very wide range of channel options for their time. They had exclusive rights to air major football and sports tournaments, as well as exclusive rights to air award shows, reality TV shows like Big Brother, Nigeria and Africa, as well as other events. They also had innovative features like pause, play, record, and other things like that during that time. Another factor was the fact that they really emphasized on new programs and new shows which they tried to show across many of the channels that they were providing. Another reason was the movies and series that were made exclusively to be aired on DSTV channels like Mnet. Other reasons included HD viewing options as well as the dynamic pricing system. Another major reason that led to their domination was the rapid and aggressive expansion they embarked on for more than 20 years. Not satisfied with the success of DSTV, MultiChoice introduced GoTV in 2011 to gain a larger market share of the mass market who couldn't afford to subscribe to DSTV. The move was very successful and put MultiChoice ahead of the competitions like StarTime. Reality TV shows like Big Brother Nigeria and Big Brother Africa, as well as other football tournaments like the UEFA and the Premier League, continues to remain popular and brings in viewers for DSTV because of the exclusive rights they have to show and air these particular programs. Interestingly, the internet became available to the broader public in 1993, which is the same year that MultiChoice came to Nigeria. However, 31 years later, the internet will become the same thing that will make DSTV as well as its entire industry to become irrelevant. Some of the reasons for a slow descent from dominance includes very limited channel and overall content option compared to the internet, which is one of the reasons why every time you go on their TV channels, you always see them repeating, which can be very annoying. There are some films that they would have shown like more than 30 times in 2 years. Another reason is inflation and the naira devaluation of 2023, where DSTV lost about $72 million in that year alone. Another major reason for their descent from dominance is what I'm going to call price positioning problem. So I'm going to compare both DSTV and streaming services and show you the problem between their price positioning. DSTV offers limited content options for a much higher price, while other streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, as well as Showmax have much more premium content options and features for much less price. Another issue is the constant price hikes, as well as the fact that DSTV has become very expensive because they are kind of like a monopoly because of the exclusive rights they have to air some particular programs that the Nigerian public are interested in. The next reason is the fact that it has less control, especially when it comes to ads compared to the internet. You can't just skip ads, but if you are watching YouTube and other platforms, you can skip ads. The next reason is that it can be affected by the weather. Small rain like this, you will not be able to watch anything. Everything will be shaking. The next reason is that it can be affected by power outage. Anytime the power goes out or your fuel finish in your gen, you are back to darkness, and no matter how much you've paid, you can't use it. The next reason is the fact that it's immobile compared to our smartphones, which is very easy to carry up and down. The next reason is that apart from the major leagues and reality TV shows like BBN and award shows, it doesn't really have any other thing that is so, it doesn't have any exclusive content that people cannot live without. Many of all these shows are periodical, so it's only when these shows come back on air, like Big Brother Nigeria and the Major League Football, that people go back to DSTV. But eventually, streaming platforms will start to incorporate these particular shows, which is what Showmax does right now. And finally, a very major and undiscussed reason for the slow descent was the pandemic, because during the pandemic, people were forced to stay at home, which made people more open to different kind of things, including streaming, including Zoom. And that time, Netflix was already on the rise in popularity, but the pandemic forced people to take streaming more seriously. As of right now, the only people that still regularly subscribe to DSTV and GoTV are a few households, restaurants, bars, football viewing centers, betting centers, hotels, hospitals, and a few other businesses. DSTV is now used as a kind of passive or background entertainment for guests, patients, and customers. And sometimes it is used as active entertainment, especially when football lovers and lovers of reality game shows like BBN gather to watch it together. MultiChoice has revealed severally that there is usually a spike in subscription during the month that Big Brother game shows and football tournaments are aired live. Unfortunately, the paid TV system will ultimately phase out, and satellite dishes will become relics of the past, like the black and white television and land phones in the decades past. Smart devices and TVs will get cheaper and more accessible until they become the dominant technology. The good thing is that MultiChoice has its own streaming service called Showmax that holds about 40% of the market share of streaming on the African continent. The streaming service was launched in 2015 and was relaunched in 2024 after NBC Universal Group acquired 30% of the company in 2023. Showmax as a streaming service is very similar to the international giants like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and HBO, but differentiates itself with local African content, legacy programs from DSTV, exclusive rights to air Major League Football and other sporting events, and original movie and contents. It offers a download feature that allows users to download as much as 25 shows and movies at a time and watch them offline on the Android and iOS device. It also offers multiple profiles like Netflix and is available in over 40 countries at the moment. Right now, MultiChoice is heavily promoting Showmax in Nigeria because they know the end of DSTV is near and unavoidable. So it's better to re-strategize and focus their energy on their streaming platform. Legacy shows like Big Brother Nigeria and Big Brother Africa, as well as exclusive rights to air Major League Football, will ultimately draw former and present subscribers of DSTV to the Showmax streaming platform. Without a doubt, DSTV and MultiChoice have had a very strong impact on the culture of young Nigerians through the decades. From the impact that the music stations had on the mind of young viewers to the movie lovers, award shows, sport lovers, and all the micro stars that were created through shows like Big Brother Nigeria, Big Brother Africa, as well as all the jobs it created for DSTV and GoTV installers and the subscription centers scattered across Nigeria and Africa as a whole. But as I said earlier, the only thing that is permanent in this life is change and evolution. Unfortunately, by no real fault of their own, the once formidable brand may be coming to its end. Fortunately for MultiChoice, Showmax will continue where DSTV left off. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. My name is Kola and I'll see you in my next videos.